Hey guys, this is Javin Singh, and I'm the training manager in Palin Analytics. Today we'll be talking about SAS and its user aspects. Guys, if we talk about SAS, basically this is a statistical analysis software is used in the industry for analyzing data and doing visualization as well. Right? So, if we talk about the history of SAS, it was introduced by SAS Institute Incorporation around in 1980s, and since then industry is using this as a statistical software. As SAS working is concerned, it is basically used for data retrieval, data management, and data mining, as you can see on my screen as well. Presentation itself speaks about that. It's also used as a report writing and graphical tool. So data visualization part is also considered as main aspect of SAS. It is mainly used for statistical analysis, methods like regression techniques, time series analysis, decision trees. So basically it is used for all the analytical skills. It is a very good software for business planning and forecasting and making decisions. It is mainly used in operations, research, and project management domains. Right. Also use applications development, but that is not for the analytics profile. That is mainly for SAS programmers or SAS developers. Right. So guys, this is a brief introduction of SAS. If we talk about SAS and working in its environment, this is a very easy software to work on. Syntax that we use or the programming that we use in SAS is quite easy as compared to other analytical languages or other programming languages if we compare it with R or Python. Why is easy is because it gives you a software environment. You can basically work on that and you can see how your data streams goes. And if we talk about other programming languages, that is basically more of a programming environment rather than a software environment. So whatever we do in SAS, we can do it writing the code for it, and we can do that graphically as well. So that's the liberty that SAS gives to its users. It's a license-paid service that companies are using as compared to Python, which both are open source platforms. It's free to download and you can work on that. So this is a brief idea about SAS. Right? Why SAS is used in industry? Guys, if we talk about the basic analysis part that we used to do in Excel, so that part we will be handling with SAS now. Why? Because the amount of data that companies are dealing with has increases with an exponential way. So at that time when people used to have some sort of data, they used to handle it on Excel sheets and they used to perform the analysis on Excel only. Right? But now, as you can see on my screen, that the data has increased its size. So nowadays we have a file of even 2 GB size. Right? Work on that much amount of data using SAS, and we can perform all the data manipulation and data analysis using this software. Right? Guys, if we talk about modules of SAS, we have base SAS, SAS graph, which is used for mainly visual and data visualization purpose. We also have SAS ETL, which is extraction, transformation, and loading tool. Right? We have STAT, which is used for statistical analysis. We have SAS E-Miner, which is an enterprise level software system that we use. And if we talk about the SAS environment, so guys, SAS comprises of mainly 5 windows. We start with the program editor, where we'll write all the code that we want to make. And the next window is log window. And this is the log window, where it will be generating all the errors and warnings. So for a good programmer or to be a good analyst, very important that you check your log window after every program you submit. So that be a very good programming technique or practice, so that you won't have to encounter many problems during your analysis. Right. The next window is the Explorer window. Right. That you see. Explorer window has libraries. It is same as our PC has drives, C drive, D drive, E drive. Similarly, we have libraries in this. Right. These libraries will have the files under them, and we call them data sets in SAS. Every data set will comprises the data or a particular file. We have some observations and columns. We call a row is an observation, and a column is a variable in SAS. Right. So basically, this is the environment that we have. So all the data we have in SAS will be stored in these files under these libraries. Okay. The two windows are output window and results window. In output window, we'll basically have the current output. Results window, we will have we can explore the past results or the past outputs of the procedures as well. Okay. So about the environment of SAS that we can use. Okay. Let me give you a brief idea about SAS. Okay. So if we talk about SAS programming, so the people who are not from a programming background, they don't have to worry about, because the programming that we use in SAS is very easy as compared to other programming languages. Right? The code that you can see here, the code is developed in editor. So this is how the editor window looks like. And this is the code, this is the example that we have basically created. Okay, and this is the Explorer window, right? The Explorer window, we have library in that, and if I go and open these libraries, we have around 8 libraries here, right? Let's say I'll open a library which is help. This is a default library that comes with SAS and has many data sets which are there for the practitioners. So, these are the data sets that we have, or the files that we have under these libraries. Open this library or data set. So a data looks like in SAS. Right? So this is a file about cars that we have in SAS for practice purpose. These are the variables like make, model, type, origin, drivetrain, MSRP, invoice, engine size, cylinders, horsepower, and many. And these are the observations that we have, or data that we have stored under these variables. Fair enough. Right. So I'll go and close it. Right. Okay. The programming that we have in SAS is quite easy. You can see that the data statement is used to create a new data set. Right? I'm sorry. So this data set is creating, the name is compound, right? We have assigned two variables here. One is interest, which is 0.0375, and the another one is total. It's initialized as 100. Right? So see, guys, every SAS statement will end with a semicolon. So the first thing to notice about SAS programming, that if we initialized a statement, we will be ending it with a semicolon. The next good thing about SAS is that it is not case sensitive. Right? Whether you write data in small letters or you write in capital letters, it doesn't matter to it. Right? So use any case you want, and SAS will work fine with any, whether it is uppercase or lowercase, right? So what we are basically trying to achieve here is we are the total amount after including the interest for 3 years. So let's say a person starts with 100 rupees, and every year he needs to pay an interest of 0.0375. Right. So we need to calculate that what will be the amount after 3 years. Right. So how we will do that? We have a formula as total, that's the initial amount, plus interest rate into a total amount. Right. So this is the formula we need to implement for all these 3 years. Right. So whenever we guys we want to repeat a particular statement for a period or for a time being, use do loop for that. Like the other programming languages, in other programming languages we have for loop, we have while loop, we switch cases. So similarly in SAS we have do loop. So do is basically used to repeat a particular task. So here we want to repeat this formula for 3 years, 3 consecutive years. Right? So how we will do that? We have initialized a do loop, and in front of do loop we will give the condition that how long this do loop should go on. So we have initialized year equals to 1 to 3, right? So, the year is the next variable that we have initialized, and its value will go from 1 to 3. So has 3 values in it, 1, 2, 3, right? We enter this do loop, we have this formula, and this formula, the output of total will be written to the data set. That's why we have used output statement here, and with AND statement we will end this do loop right there. And we have chosen a format for total as well, which will be in the form of $10, not 2. That means that the total, which is an amount, will be there in the output, the $sign, right? So guys, this is what we want to achieve through this code, and now it is the good time to run this code. Okay, so I have submitted this code. We can do that like this, and we will check log window. In log window we can see that there are no errors, right? So as we have created a data set which is data compound. Okay, so we'll go to the editor window, and let me just turn this off for an easier way. So the another code which I have written is proc print data equals to compound. So proc is a procedure. So SAS will have many procedures for different tasks. This procedure is used for printing a particular data set. So if we want to print the data set which is compound that we have just created. So let's go and print this data set and see how it has happened in the data set. Right. So the taking of okay. So we have the answer on our screen. So see, you can see that the out has written 3 times because we have repeated the do loop for 3 times. That is for year 1, year equals to 2, and year equals to 3. So for every year, there is 1 iteration. Right? So a do loop here has 3 iterations, and that depends on the conditions that we have just specified after do. So according to condition, it should have 3 iterations. So it has 3 iterations, right? And we have calculated total here, right? So as you can see that, I'm sorry. So for the first iteration, the amount of total initially was 100. So the iteration will become, just we'll go there. So it will be 100 plus 0.0375 into 100. So 0.0375 into 100 will become 3.75 and total 100. So 100 plus 3.75, it will be 3.75. So that's the output after first iteration. So that's the first iteration, and the output of this will be written to total table, and we will start another iteration. We'll go there again, and we will start this do loop again. So guys, one thing to notice here is that the variable total is initialized to its previous iteration's value. So the output of this iteration will go and input for the next iteration, right? But if we talk about programming or processing data in SAS, we have seen that every variable is initialized to missing after each iteration. That we read the raw data from any file. But that's not what's happening here. The reason being is that total variable is retained here, right? So what retain means? Retain means that its past value or its value from the past iteration has retained in it. It is not again initialized to missing value. It is initialized to its previous value, right? So value of total will be retained after every iteration. So go for the second iteration. Now the value of total will be 103.75 plus 0.0375, 103.75, and the next total will be 107.64. Guys, that's how it goes. So it will go for each iteration, and the output will be written to the variable. We can mention any amount of iterations. If we write 1 to 5, so it will go for 5 times. Right? So one way we can use the iterations. Many other ways by which we can use these iterations. So we'll do that as the part of course. But as for the introduction purpose, this is enough. Right? So let's say we have a data set, which is the data set cars that we have seen, right? So if we want to make any changes to that data set, right? Let's say we have created a new data set, right? And we will access the car data set here, right? So say in cars data set, you want to access only those cars which are of type Audi. So out of all these cars which has BMWs, Acuras, Toyotas, everything, you need to access only those cars which are Audi. So how we will do that? So we have conditional statements here as where. So we will write it as where make equals to, right? We put the semicolon and we will run this, right? Guys, if I run this, what it will be doing is it will get a new data set as new. We will check the Explorer window, and by default every data set is created in work library. So if I open this new, you see that from the complete cars data set, now we have only Audi cars. Right. So this is how we can subset our data set using different conditions. We can put another condition as and equals to, let's say, sports. Right. So guys, I'm sorry. We want only those cars which are Audi as well as sports type. Right. So we want only Audi cars, and in Audi cars too, we want only those cars which are of type sports. So how we will do that? We do that using this statement. Right. So I go ahead and run this. If I check the new data set, so now you can see that out of all those Audi cars, we have only 4 Audi cars which are of the type sports. Right. This is how we can subset the data set that we have. Okay. So guys, guys, there are many methods that we have in SAS, and by using them, we can do the data manipulation, we can do the analysis, we can do the sorting and all. So let's say for sorting, we have a procedure called proc sort. Date equals to, let's say, new, right? And we will use a bar statement for variable in which we want to sort that particular data set. So let's say we want to sort this in the form of MSRP. So according to the price of that particular car, this complete data set will be sorted. So it will be sorted in ascending or descending order. That is completely our choice. So if we want to sort this in ascending order, we don't have to mention anything. We will be just writing by an MSRP and a semicolon, and we will write run. Run, and I'll go ahead and run this code. Right. So if I go and check a new data set, so you can see this is sorted in NRP, right? 35, 37, 40, 84. This is sorted in ascending order. Now let's say you want to sort this in descending order. So you don't have to do anything. You just need to type descending MSRP and go ahead and run this one. Okay, now check new. So now see that it is set, but in the descending order of MSRP. So now 84, 40, 37, and 35. Right? Now we can sort data using proc sort. Similarly, we have proc means data equals to let's say SAS help dot cost, right? And I'll go ahead and run this. So it's basically a procedure to get the basic statistics about that particular data set. When I talk about basic statistics, and it is standard deviation, it is minimum value, maximum value, average values, the number of observations, the frequency counts. These things will become as part of the output. So go ahead and run this, and we will see that the output of means procedure is this. So what all things we have here is MSRP, invoice, engine size, cylinders, horsepower, MPG, highway, weight, wheelbase, and length. So you can see that it is showing us only numerical variables. So the thing to notice here is proc means output will have only numeric values. Why? Because the sticks will be counted of the numeric values and not the character ones. Right? So it has the numerical values, it has its label. Label is only the display name that we have in part. We have n, that is the number of observations that we have under that variable. Meet the average value. So from all the cars, the average value of MSRP, or the average market price of cars, is 32,774. Similarly, the rate of cars is 166. Right? The average weight is 3,577. Right. So standard deviation, we have the minimum value of MSRP and we have the maximum value of MSRP. So now we can get the basic statistics about that particular data. Right. We can use proc means for that. So we have different procedures for doing different tasks in SAS. So has the liberty of doing anything that is required into analytics and statistical analysis. We can use symbols as well in SAS. Proc regression, we'll use proc reg for that. We have proc logistic for logistic regression. We have proc g plots, plotting the variables. We have proc uni for univariate analysis, right? So there are different methods that we will be covering under as the part of this course. And guys, this is the brief idea or the um, basic knowledge about SAS, right? So if you talk about the industry, the, if we talk about SAS, so it is used mainly in finance, banking, and healthcare domains. So anybody who's looking for a career into analytics, into finance, banking, and healthcare domain, they should go for this training and they should learn SAS as part of their academics. So then they can have a great a career into analytics. Right? So guys, that's all about the introduction of SAS. And go ahead and make the career which right now. Right? All right. So thank you so much for this, guys. Thank you so much for being